Cork's Red FM.
I can't believe it. And when we watched the film of Steve and me out there, it was incredible to think it was 25 years ago since we had that battle. It's just amazing. It's amazing that there were some young people turned up that probably weren't even born when we were playing that final.
I was watching the last frame on YouTube there yesterday, and it looks like the entire Crucible Theatre is egging you on. They're cheering for you.
Well, it was funny. I mean, the fact that I came back from 8-0 down and 9-1 down, and also the fact that Steve was dominating the game throughout the 80s, there was a lot of support for me there. And well, it was at the time when you're playing, you're not really thinking about that. You're just concentrating on what you're doing on the table.
Dennis, what do you remember of the match itself?
I just remember sitting for the first session in my seat and watching Steve walk around that table and pot ball after ball and make break after break. And it was a bit embarrassing. It can be very lonely, the Crucible Theatre, even though it's a small theatre. And really, I couldn't do anything about it. He just owned the table and the area around the table. And he had that sort of about him, Steve, in the 80s. You know, he sort of dominated the table. But in the end, I managed to get the one frame on the board. And of course, in the evening session of the first day, I kept him in his seat for the last 6 frames. So, you know, I was only 2 behind. So it was like a win for me, even though I lost the day's play 9-7.
After the first session being 8-0 down, what did you say to yourself afterwards?
Well, all I kept saying was, listen, you can't let this happen. You've played terrific throughout the World Championship. I'd had a session to spare in the quarterfinal and a session to spare in the semi-final, so I was playing the best snooker of my career. And I said, well, don't give up yet. If you get a chance, just see what you can do, because snooker's like that. It's not like golf, where your opponent hits a good shot, you can hit a good shot. If one of the players is doing it, the other one can't do anything about it. They've got to just sit and watch.
Getting down to the deciding frame, then, it's the stuff of sporting legend at this stage, isn't it, Dennis?
Well, on that last frame, I mean, it was amazing. The balls went a little bit awkward. There was some safety play played that was very, very good, but there was some shots missed that was just down to pure pressure. And as I say, that when you look at that final frame, with each shot, Steve was getting whiter. And with each shot that I was taking, I was going redder. So it was amazing, and nobody ever dreamt that it would go right to the last black. But there you go. People still talk about it.
Because you had one of the biggest twitches of your life, didn't you, when you had the black into the green pocket?
Oh, I tell you, it was. We reenacted that, or tried to reenact it the other day, and of course, I lifted my head. I exaggerated everything, and the black flew in the pocket.
It's amazing what you can do when the pressure's off, isn't it? It was an absolutely amazing. Were you aware of the support you had back in Ireland at this stage?
Well, as I say, you're concentrating mainly on the particular frame that you're on, and you're trying to win it. But I didn't realise. I mean, afterwards you did. But when I went to Cork and played at the Neptune Basketball Stadium, I think it was about 6 weeks after it. I mean, I'd never been to Cork prior to that, and I'm just playing 6 of the local lads there. And when I got to the Neptune, 3,500 people were in it. That is the biggest crowd that's ever seen any snooker match anywhere in the world. So it was there in Cork, and there wasn't even another professional there. It was just 6 of the local lads.
What was the feeling like, Dennis, when the black finally went in?
Well, the one I didn't think Steve would miss the one that he missed, but as he said himself, when he walked across the Crucible floor to pot that, his legs had gone. They felt like somebody else's. I know he was saying his backhand felt like it was Jimmy White's, because Jimmy was left-handed. He said it felt like Jimmy White's right hand. And he just overcut it. And the one I had was a lot easier than the one. Although, having said that, when I tried to reenact that at the Crucible the other day, I set it up and I missed the easy black. So, it was an unbelievable feeling. I think that's why I was stamping the cue and then waving it above my head. It was just the fact that I realised an ambition after 13 years. I'd become world champion. We'd had one champion in Alex Higgins, so it was great, to do it again. And then, of course, Ken has also done it. So there's there's 3 world champions from Ireland, which is quite incredible, really.
Not bad for our small island, is it? What was it like when you went back home to Ireland? I'd say it was like being a rock star, was it?
Well, yeah, and going back to Coal Island was just it was just crazy because the town, when we come around where I lived, where my parents lived, we come around to the top of the hill to go down into the town, and I thought there'd be a couple of thousand people there or something like that. But the place, you couldn't move in the town. It was just absolutely incredible. And, there was all sections of the community there as well speaking. And that was the great thing about snooker. And I think Barry McGuigan did it with the boxing. You brought everybody together, which was, at the time it was a nice feeling because things weren't great at home. And it brought everybody together. So that was another terrific part of it.
You mentioned the reenactment that you did the other day. Yourself and Steve make a great comedy double act.
Well, we do a few shows together. In fact, we're coming over again. I think we're over starting on the 11th of May. So we're doing a few shows round the south of Ireland there. So it'll be great fun because Steve is a funny fella. People used to get the wrong impression of him. He was a bit serious in the 80s, but he always had a wicked sense of humour. But he's so much fun these days, and we have a bit of fun with the shows we do.
Finally, Dennis, coming back to Cork in a few weeks. Looking forward to coming back down south?
Always do. The crack's always good there, and you always can pick up a few new gags for the old routine. You'll always get a few gags down there, I can tell you.
Cork's Red FM.